You are a superhero. Want to know how I know? Well, tune in to this episode of Out of the Box. Welcome back to Out of the Box, the series where unconventional thinking leads to extraordinary living. I'm your host, Elizabeth Miner, CEO and founder of Thrive This Day, and I'm also a life coach. So this episode is dedicated to you as the superhero. Now, don't quite think you fit that superhero quality? Well, stay with me for a second here. You know, Bruce Wayne didn't walk around telling everybody he was Batman. And Diana Prince never once would you ever catch her walking around strutting her stuff saying, "Hey, I am Wonder Woman," right? And Clark Kent. I mean, give me a break. Did he ever let on as this clumsy newsroom person that he was the one that his newsroom was all chasing to get the story on? Not once did he ever let on to that. And that's the thing about superheroes. They're ordinary people. They're the people we see every day, and we're walking in amongst them every day. So, what exactly makes a superhero? Well, what a superhero does in their superhero-ness is they show up when we call for them. In our most dire moments, when we need support, that we're in over our heads, that there's something that we cannot do alone, the superhero shows up and is there to support us in our needs. That's what the superheroes do. It's not necessarily that they have amazing strength or an invisible plane or that they can fly. That only gets them to the location where the need is. And it's the responding to the need that actually makes them the superhero. You see where I'm going on this? Now, let's even take this one step further, because we've all heard those stories about people exhibiting extraordinary powers in extreme situations. The stories where a mother lifts a car off her child, or a person who runs into a burning building to rescue someone or something that has tremendous value to them in terms of a pet or a human, right? Somebody who goes to extreme measures and they really shouldn't be able to do what they're doing, but they do. That's their superpower. They're able to call on that. Now, it's not always some superhuman act. Sometimes it's just being there for a friend when they need somebody because they can't do this on their own. Sometimes it just means being available for somebody even when they can't put the words together to ask for the help. But it is being there to empathize, to support, to just listen. Sometimes that is what being a superhero is all about. And I'm going to tell you, we all have this capability. And we do not need to wait till extraordinary measures are needed. Make each day a day where you recognize that it is an extraordinary circumstance for somebody. So it may just be passing that homeless person on the street, and instead of averting your eyes, acknowledging them. It's looking at the barista when they ask you, "How was your day?" You actually take a moment, and instead of auto responding, "Fine, I'll have a mocha loco chaka," whatever you're ordering at the barista. I just ordered coffee. But, just look at your barista and say, "Actually, I'm pretty good today. How are you doing? How's your day going? How's your shift going?" You see, taking those moments is just an everyday person doing what seems to be ordinary tasks, but you never know when it's an extraordinary moment for another person. So my encouragement to you today is to go ahead and be that superhero. No need to get all dressed up, but if you want to, heck, go at it. But just think about this throughout your day, about how you can make an ordinary moment extraordinary for somebody. And it's in those moments that we just show up and we just recognize somebody and maybe fill a need. Maybe be that support that they are calling out for. And show up and be with them and get them through that space. You may not make the headlines of the newspaper, but I can guarantee you will make the impact of a superhero. So that's what I have for you today. I hope that you will consider this in not just today, but every day, and kind of think about that in your gratitude practice is, how can I be present to show up for people in my superhero way? And think about that as you move about your days in your life. And I hope that you are living the extraordinary life that you so deserve. And I can't wait to get back to you next week with another episode of Out of the Box. Until then, ciao. Of difference for them. Let me try that again.